Well, it's game of the week time. Uh, I am going with a game. There, if we want to talk about like all the different possibilities from this game, it's not a whole lot because the Bengals are relying on the Broncos losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. But I chose Bengals versus Steelers. The Bengals have to win to get in any situation, so you're going to see probably the best game out of Joe Burrow this whole season. That coming against a defense like the Steelers, you're going to see him make some incredible plays. This should be eyes glued to the TV. There's no other game playing at this time. The Saturday games are at two different times. And heads up, it's on a Saturday. It's not on Netflix though, is it? It's not one of those
Nope.
dumb
No.
ones. Okay, yeah. But Joe Burrow is going to make some career highlight level plays in this game to try and get into the playoffs. Even if they don't make it, he's going to put it all out on the line, along with the rest of that Bengals team. And Trey Hendrickson is still in competition for being the sack leader. So you'll probably see a decent amount of effort out of him. These Bengals want to make plays against a division rival in a game that has so much meaning for them. Um, and the Steelers just get to. I don't know if this really has any implication on their seeding, but they would love to play spoiler and not let the Bengals get into the playoffs in Pittsburgh. So
Yeah, it has a
Believe
lot to
game.
do with Pittsburgh's seeding point. They could be the 3 seed, the 5 seed, or the 6 seed going in and
Okay.
after this game. So a lot of stuff can happen for them there. But do you think Joe Burrow's MVP chances rise or skyrocket if they win this game and make the playoffs somehow?
So I certainly think that he deserves to be in the conversation whether they make the playoffs or not. Um, but
With the numbers he's putting up, that how he's doing it, every other time a quarterback has done this, they've won MVP. But
I
their
don't
teams
think
were
there's
actually
any
good at
other
that point.
I don't think there's any other player at the quarterback position that deserves to get the MVP more than Joe Burrow this season.
ooh,
Josh Allen is having a good season. I know you're giving me that look, Josh Allen.
and
So I want to
Lamar.
and Lamar is also having a great season.
Lamar's having a better season than Josh Allen.
I want to say this about Josh Allen. There's another quarterback that is getting zero talk about MVP that has better stats than Josh Allen, and that is
Lamar.
Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has better pass. If you want to take in the rushing stats, that's fine, and you should. But passing wise, Sam Darnold is having a better season by far than Josh Allen is. So I don't think Josh Allen should be in the talk for MVP. I think this should be, if we're saying quarterbacks, it should be between Joe Burrow and probably Lamar. If we really want to like actually look at MVP, we probably need to be looking at some running backs, i.e., you got Saquon Barkley, and then also Derrick Henry should be in that conversation as well. But for quarterbacks,
I
Joe
think
Burrow should probably be the number one guy.
Saquon has clearly outpaced Derrick Henry. And like he shouldn't. If it comes to a running back, it definitely should be Saquon Barkley. But
Oh
Agreed.
yeah.
I feel like Jared Goff is kind of fallen out of this race. And I really do think it should be between uh, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Saquon Barkley, in my humble opinion.
Agreed.
I don't know if Joe Burrow, they don't make the playoffs. I don't think he would be even mentioned in the conversation at that point, though.
And
He
Probably not.
should, though. He should,
I
though.
get that I get that aspect of it, but like homie, like you can't do much more for your team. The games that they lost so close, where like there were things that happened that were just out of his control.
You guys were asking earlier about the Steelers and what this means. Like if they pull out a win here, if they pull out a win and Baltimore does lose their game this week, that would put Pittsburgh as the winners of the AFC North. So it does have
Ah,
impacts on seeding. They do need a little bit of help for
so there
the
is all
and
types of
Baltimore's got an easy.
implications in this game.
That's right. Baltimore does have an easy game, but should they some reason lose that game, and Pittsburgh does
We've
win against the Bengals, then they're in. And the
we've
Bengals
seen
need a
crazier
lot of help.
things happen. Miami versus the Patriots. So
Uh, and the Bengals do need help. They need the Chiefs backups to be able to beat the Broncos. That's going to be a tough task on them alone. Um, in which case, remind me, correct me if I'm wrong. If Miami does win their game and against the Jets, and Denver loses, it's still Miami that gets in, correct, over the Bengals.
Yeah.
So they need the Dolphins, the Bengals need the Dolphins and the Broncos to lose just for them to get in. So that's quite a bit of help that they're going to need.
Guys, as a Chiefs fan, though, I'm telling you how bad I want the Bengals to get into the playoffs and
Oh, I
see
want them in.
Bills Bengals
Oh yeah.
first
I
round.
want that. I want that really badly.
Because they hate each other just as much as they hate us. So, and I think the Bengals would probably be the only team out of that mix that even has a shot at beating the Bills. So,
Oh, the Ravens have a major shot at beating the Bills.
in the
Oh,
mix that
oh,
could get
okay.
the seventh
I got
seed.
you. That's on me.
Yeah, buddy.
But the Bengals, in order to do this, Joe Burrow's going to have to put the team on his back more so than he has at any other time of this season. The defense is
It's
still
him and Trey.
absolutely putrid.
It's him and Trey, and Chase has to catch the passes from Joe Burrow. Like what do the Bengals have outside of those three guys? Really,
T. Higgins,
T
man.
Higgins, but
T Higgins is good. You do have Mike Gesicki, although the Steelers are really good at covering tight ends. Um, you're going to need a little bit of help from Chase Brown. Hopefully, he's recovered from the game that he had last week where he went out early. The Bengals are really going to have to do all of this on offense. It's going to have to be a shootout. And if they can turn this game into a shootout, I do not think that the Pittsburgh Steelers can keep up. I will say that. The Pittsburgh, even against this defense, Russ is not meant for scoring 40 plus points in a game. Hasn't done that in a very long time. They're going to need to slow the game. Go ahead.
I believe he's done that this year, bud.
Have they?
Yeah.
I'm looking back on it.
Like,
Yeah, they did put up a 44 point. They did do a shootout with the Bengals. I totally forgot about that.
I was about to
That was
say
like
like this
that
happened the
was like
first
two
time
months.
around.
Sorry, that was like 2 months ago. So I've forgotten that. But yeah, I mean, what? That's the one game this season, two games this season that they've scored 30 plus points. And the other one was against the Jets, who have a bad offense and a bad defense. So yeah, all right. So, they can keep up.
I'm
They've
gonna
done
go
it
ahead and
before.
hit you with a fine for that because
yeah.
Yep. You should.
Jesus,
You
man.
should. But on a consistent basis, doing it again, I don't think that's the case. This is not how the Steelers win is by putting up points.
So look,
That's
I, I've
not the
I've
type
said
of
this
guy that
about
Russell
Russell
is.
Wilson, man. He has his streaky. He is a streaky quarterback. Like he has his stretch of really really good play, and I think we've already seen that. He's started to kind of fizzle out a little bit as they head into the playoffs, and that's not a good sign for them in the postseason. Um, yeah, can they do it? Can they hang with an offense like the Bengals? Yes, they can, but in this specific Week 18 matchup, I don't think it happens. I'm agreeing with you on that point, but the like as I was saying, Joe Burrow loses games because of things out of his control. That Steelers game was one of them. The defense couldn't stop like anything. So
Yeah. The Steelers are really going to have to run the time off the clock this week against the Bengals. It's going to have to be they're going to have to run the ball with Najee. They're going to have to look at short dink and dunk
Gonna be
plays.
a lot of Jalen this week.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
think
Jalen
I think
Warren.
Jalen. I
I
mean,
agreed.
both of
Yeah.
them had kind of similar stats against KC, uh, but I feel like Jalen is starting to outplay Najee just a little bit. So don't be
It's the
shocked
James
to see.
Conner Najee Harris all over again.
Well, yeah, don't be shocked if they start to go Jalen Warren a little bit more this upcoming weekend in the playoffs.
I initially thought before looking at the schedule, maybe Pittsburgh rest their starters. They've already got it locked in. Maybe they don't worry about the seeding. Maybe take this 1 week break. If the Bengals win, whatever, they still need a lot of help to get in. That clearly isn't looking to be the case of what's going to be happening. Um, Maybe they pull them at halftime, regardless of what's going on. Who knows? I think that might be the better move for the Steelers if they're looking to get anywhere in the playoffs. They should be looking to probably take some rest in this game in some way, shape, or form.
I sure hope so because they are looking rough heading up in the last few weeks right now, and they need to get somewhat healthy for the playoffs because they're not going to do shit in there either.
Is
So
was Pickens back yet?
yeah, he
Pickens,
got back
George
last week,
Pickens, left lip.
Okay.
but you still need him to get back in there, get some more game reps. Hopefully, he'll be fine for the playoffs.
Him, I mean, TJ's banged up and bruised. Missed one of the games during the 3 day stretch during the holidays. So, yeah, I mean that's the whole team is looking a little rough right now for the Steelers. And if you get some help from Baltimore, I mean, maybe you've got a chance, but you really shouldn't be counting on that. Probably just take what you can get and some rest here before super wild card weekend takes off next week.
They're not. There's no chance they let a rival even have a shot of like just lay down and let them have a shot to get into the playoffs. There's no way that happens.